All right, Matrix. I just saw the Matrix Resurrections, and the first thing I want to say about it is Star Wars. You know, Star Wars Episode 7, 8, and 9. We were promised those our whole life, so that when those kind of failed to live up to expectations, you know, that was a problem because we waited our whole lives for it. With Matrix Resurrections going in, someone asked me like, "Hey, what do you want to get out of this Matrix movie?" And I said, "Hey, man, I'm just happy to get another Matrix movie. I didn't even think it would ever happen. So anything I'm getting, I'm going to be happy with." So I went in and it was an enjoyable ride. And what I think the movie was, and the reason why I think a lot of people don't like it, is I don't think they have an allegory, metaphor, or, you know, to be able to read between the lines and see multiple levels of what's going on. Matrix Resurrections really, to me, was Lana Wachowski explaining the Matrix series and the Matrix phenomenon and why there wasn't any more Matrix movies for like 20 years and why there is one now, and how corporate America destroyed the essence of the Matrix, and how even the people destroyed what could have been salvaged out of it. And it's all explained through the movie. You know, you see they had that board of people there that were trying to decide, you know, what makes the Matrix. Oh, it's bullet time. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. And it's the mind stuff. And I don't know if you stayed for after the credits, but they even if you stay after the credits, they say, "Hey man, we need some more cat videos." So like the cats and Matrix, the cat tricks. So that's what I think Matrix Resurrection was. It also was it being self-aware of the impact it had on society, that the movie changed the world. It unlocked our minds, helped us unplug from the Matrix. And that impact, it was also like challenged, like, well, what kind of impact? Because we're all still enslaved. You know, did we really change the world? Then it's like, no, actually we did, because we're building towards taking it back, which is like at the end with Neo and Trinity, when they're talking to Doogie Howser. And Doogie's like, "Hey, you know, congrats you guys escaped, whoop-de-doo. I still own everybody else's mind, they're sheeple, you know, they all want to flow in the path of least resistance, so enjoy your little victory, but the world is still mine." And Neo and Trinity were like, "I don't think so, because we're gonna take it back." So that's what the movie is. I felt like it was an interview with Lana Wachowski, and Wachowski being open and honest about, yeah, like, hey, I get it, we changed the world, but the job's not done, and there's a lot of people still asleep, and corporate America destroyed it, and, you know, we made that video game series, Enter the Matrix and The Path of Neo, and you guys didn't buy it, and you didn't like it because it was just like Morpheus and Niobe and the members of the Nebuchadnezzar and Zion, and for whatever reason, if Neo and Trinity aren't in it, you guys don't want it. So now the film studios forced us to make this movie, so I was able to use that as leverage to get Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss to make the movie. And so now we got the two characters that you want together in the movie that makes it a Matrix movie. And here it is. You guys wanted your love plot? Here you go. That's kind of it in a nutshell. I felt like the movie was like a commentary, was like a spoof of the Matrix being self-aware of itself and explaining itself. And I think a lot of people, and that's how I always thought of the Matrix. I never took it as like, to me, the point of the Matrix wasn't to get into the storyline. It was to take the philosophy out of it and walk away thinking differently about philosophy, existence, what's reality, what is identity, what is the Matrix, simulations, what does it even matter? If you do find out that this isn't real, then what? And freeing people's minds and unlocking from the system. They threw all kinds of different member berries at you. So you had all the flashback shots. You had the director even showing you like, all right, here's the part where Neo's thinking of the guy's mouth gluing back together. Here's this scene that we're reproducing, and we're just remaking it, reimagining it. So it was kind of like The Force Awakens. You know, The Force Awakens was kind of like Star Wars 1 or The New Hope, just reproduced into a new movie. And this one was kind of like Matrix 1 and 3. Like the movie starts off with the Trinity scene, but this time it's not Trinity, it's Tiffany or it's it's the other girl. And yeah, so it's basically the same movie repackaged, but they made it cool because they made it as a dialogue or a like a documentary almost, or It's not a spoof. It's not a documentary. It's a commentary. It was like a commentary about the Matrix. So that's what I got out of it. And at this point, you know what's kind of interesting too is I realized that if the Matrix was dropping heavy duty knowledge on the audience, I completely missed it because I'm so used, since '99, I've been so far down the rabbit hole that, things that are rabbit hole-ish or red pillish, it's just like, oh yeah, no kidding. Like I don't even realize it because I'm like, oh yeah, of course. So there might have been a lot of stuff being dropped in there, but it's not that I missed it. It's just that I was like, yeah, no kidding. I knew that. But I think it was a good movie and I enjoyed it. Like, I'm so thrilled that we got a Matrix 4. It gave me the closure I needed. If they do make more Matrix movies, okay, sure, I'll see it. I don't need all the kung fu and the action stuff. I just want, if the whole movie was just them breaking down what reality is, I'd be completely fine with that. In fact, I want somebody to make a movie that is just that. There is one movie that's kind of like it, but it fell really short. It's called Waking Life. It's animated. But that was more of like what dreams are and what is like quantum mechanics. I want to just see a movie where it's somebody discovering or challenging or questioning the nature and fabric of reality and, zooming in on atoms and saying, all right, well, there's a lot of empty space. We're made up of a bunch of light. We're light beings. What does it all mean? And just in case you don't understand what I'm saying about this being Lana Wachowski explaining it, if you've ever seen the movie Clerks 2, Clerks 2, the movie muffin one. The movie was Kevin Smith explaining why he did everything he was doing. And it was all exemplified with like the metaphors or the allegories was that he was getting married to the girl in real life who was his real wife, but he's getting married to this girl and they're moving to Florida. Now in Florida there's a city called Hollywood, Florida, and in California there's a city called Hollywood, California. At the time, Kevin Smith was starting to make like Hollywood films that were going away from the View Askew universe. And he thought that's what he should be doing. And he thought that's what he wanted to be doing, but he was kind of getting away from who he really was to go to something that he didn't really like, to do something he really didn't like. And so that's what the Florida represents. It represents California. And then when they're in jail at the end, Randall's complaining. He's like, dude, why are you moving to Florida, man? You don't even like that girl. Which means like, why are you going to Hollywood, California? You don't even like those kind of movies. You don't even like that crowd. You like doing Jersey stuff. And Dante, he says to Randall, like, all right, Randall, since you're so smart, what would you do? And Randall says, I'd buy the Quickie Mart and reopen it. And what that means is I'd go back to making View Askew Universe Clerks movies. And then Dante says, well, how the heck am I going to pay for that? And where am I going to get the money for that? And Jay and Silent Bob say, we got some money. And to me, that kind of represents that, Jay and Silent Bob emerged as the fan favorites. So they made that big budget Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back movie. So the movie they got from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, they could then make Clerks 2 and maybe a Mallrats 2 or, you know what I mean? So to me, that movie, and then Rosario Dawson kind of represented the Jersey films and the fart humor and everything like that. So to me, that's what Clerks 2 was. It was Kevin Smith explaining himself like, hey, you know what? I kind of was going away from what made me me. It's not really something I wanted. And so Matrix Resurrections, to me, was Lana Wachowski explaining the last 20 years of what was going on. Yeah, there's a storyline in there. Yeah, okay, Neo, he's Mr. Anderson, and there's Agent Smith, and Morpheus finds him again. They bring him back into the Matrix. Zion's no longer called Zion, it's called Io. Why is it no longer Zion and why is it now Io? Who cares? I thought it was kind of neat though that if that girl that was controlling that butterfly robot, if that really was the girl from Matrix 3 from the train station scene, that's pretty amazing. That's really cool. They did like a lot of little things, and the Merovingian character was there in that scene when everybody was fighting the big fight scene. He like looked like an old pirate or something. So the rumor was that Merovingian was going to be like have a really large role in the movie. I was kind of disappointed that he didn't. I was also disappointed that Persephone wasn't in it. You know, there's a lot of things you could gripe about, but like I said, I was just happy to get another Matrix film. So I'm not going to gripe about anything. I enjoyed the ride. It was everything I wanted to have out of it. And it was just nice to see like a final retrospective on the Matrix. So hey, I've got no complaints. I didn't think I would get another Matrix film with Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss. They were very enjoyable to watch. The guy that played Mr. Smith, he was pretty decent too. And Doogie Howser was good. So I've got no complaints. That's what I got out of the movie. May the Force be with you. Let me know what you thought about The Matrix.